Hello, my name is Geary Long, and my wife is Lois, and we're the proud owners of a Selene 59, and her name is Raven. Our story starts with 25 years of sailing on sailboats, and we enjoyed our trips very much, heading up into British Columbia and into the fjordlands in British Columbia. And we found that after a 6-week vacation, my wife started watching powerboats because in our sailboat, which we loved very much, we found that we were doing more motoring than sailing. So what we wound up doing was, well, I should say my wife wound up doing, was starting to keep track of powerboats. She would look at these powerboats and see people sitting in the salon, looking out the window and having their coffee, and we're sitting down in our sailboat in the hole, a little cold and not so much of a view. She started making this list of powerboats that she'd go and spot along the way. After our trip of 6 weeks, with only 2 good days of sailing, we decided to start looking at powerboats. We did this because she had a list. We're sitting 20 feet apart from each other. All of a sudden, I get an email she sent me with a list of boats on it. So we started looking at these different boats that she kept an eye on. So we, with that list, we started shopping for boats, and we didn't know very much about powerboats. But we started settling in on a few models because we liked the looks of the boat and we liked many of the features of the boats. Being an engineer, I had to have a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet with the boats listed and the different features, and we'd check off the different things we liked about boats. One of the first things we had to decide was twin engine versus single engine. Well, coming from a sailboat, we always had a single engine, and that served us well. Our main principle for that engine was to keep up on the maintenance. My belief and experience has been if you keep the maintenance up, the engine will treat you well. And being a pilot, a single engine pilot, that always worked well for an airplane. So I thought we can get by with a single engine, less maintenance, easier to handle. And so that started narrowing the search of the boats. From there, we just looked again at the different lines, the shapes of the boats, the features, and we started narrowing it down to a few boats, and we found ourselves on a Selene 47, our first powerboat. And we enjoyed that boat. We had it for 3 years before we went into this boat. We took the boat all around in BC and up into the central coast of Canada, and just had a wonderful time on the boat. But at our age, we soon found ourselves thinking about a little bit more comfortable features. Meaning a center berth cabin and perhaps a larger engine room. So we started looking, I shouldn't say we, my wife said, I'd like to get a bigger boat. I don't know how many wives say that for their husbands, but mine said, I want a bigger boat. And I said, well, I've got to figure out how to pay for it, but let's go looking. The 47, by the way, was supposed to be our last boat because we went from a 40-foot sailboat. I told her to get a bigger boat. We got a 47-foot powerboat. I thought that was going to be it. Well, next step is we're going to size up from the 47 to something larger. We started looking, and our range was around a 55-foot boat. We were really impressed with those, and they had a nice center berth main cabin and nice sized engine room. We looked at various boats, Selene specifically, I should say. We weren't going to leave the Selene family. We looked at boats on the West Coast, and there were very few available. We found ourselves looking on the East Coast and weren't really satisfied with the boats we were seeing. A lot of them seemed like they might need a little bit more attention before we'd be ready to take ownership of it. But we found this one in Florida, and we went down to visit this boat in Florida. Her name was Josephine, and she was originally commissioned in San Diego. Very sweet couple commissioned it in San Diego. We have a wonderful article about them, and they set up very nicely. But this boat found its way through the Panama Canal, a total of 4 times now, into Florida. And we went down to visit it, and we fell in love with it. It had all the features on my spreadsheet, and my wife was really happy with it. Larger than what we expected or what we wanted, but it met our needs, and it looked very comfortable. So we proudly took ownership of this boat, and it's now called Raven, and got her from Florida through the canal and up to the Seattle, Washington area. We've had her now for 4 years, and we've made 4 trips to Alaska on her, and it's been a wonderful boat. She has a lot of very special features. We love it because the Selenes, when we looked at other boats, it's just the weight. It has a certain feel. I don't know how to describe it, but the strength, the sturdiness of the boat, the interior cabinetry is awesome. Attention to detail is really just beautiful detail word work. and all the features, layouts just matched exactly what we wanted. So with that, we have spent 4 years now on Raven, and we're about ready as soon as we were wrapping up this to head up to Alaska for our 5th trip to Alaska, and looking forward to that, to spending that time on the boat. With that, I'd like to thank Howard Chin and the team at Jet Turin and Selene Yachts for making such a beautiful and wonderful boat, and wish him all the best and hope he keeps going. Well, welcome to Raven's Salon area. We really like this area. This is one of the reasons we bought a powerboat, because it's just a spacious area with great views out, so we can enjoy what's going around with us, the scenery, the weather. We can just sit here, relax in a nice, warm, comfortable area. We have 2 comfortable chairs that we can sit in, which is nice when you want to sit in a different position other than more of an upright position on some of the chair or the seating benches. Howard's infamous magic table that you can always open up and expand for your guest, and we can always expand it for our guests when they come visit us, so it works out great. Howard's magic table. Thanks, Howard. And then we have our galleys right here. Nice salon counter area, and my wife really likes this. We have a wonderfully large refrigerator freezer unit. We have a gas stove. Used to be an electric stove here, but we're just wanted to use something that was a little bit easier to operate. Electricity, just either sucking the batteries or having to turn a generator on. We just weren't fond of that. Being sailors, I mentioned earlier, we're familiar with gas stoves, and it's got a side benefit of warming the boat when we turn it on, so we get that extra heat to warm up the area. Coffee maker, our sink area, and of course a microwave. No boat's not complete without a microwave. Well, let me correct that. We had a microwave on our sailboat. We took it out and put a wine rack in on our sailboat. And this is Raven's Salon and Galley area. Welcome to Raven's Pilothouse. This is one of the nerve centers of this boat, which we really enjoy. It's really well appointed. We like the way the dash is laid out. We've gone for a more cleaner look, so the overhead area is fairly clean, but we've got our multifunction displays, Garmin displays located here. And we can do multiple things with them, change the screens. Right now I'm looking at my cameras to see what's around the boat. We've got a chart up, depth sounder, and forward-looking sonar. So I have all the instruments we need here, and I can change, add radar and other functions as well, including my Maritron connections. We have, and speaking of Maritron, we have a Maritron device here. I keep an iPad with charts as well, just as a backup system. Engine controls are here, and then we have our generator controls for the 6 kW and the 25 kW generator right here. Very comfortable seats here, and we really like the way this was designed. We have a raised seating area here, so when one of us is driving, we have a second set of eyes sitting behind, but they can be busy reading a book, working on a computer, or just relaxing and having a snack. That's very nicely laid out. We have another set of stairs here, I should point out, to get down to the lower area. So we have 2 ways to get down to the lower area. One set of stairs here leads forward to the master cabin, and then we have another set of stairs aft that lead directly to the master cabin. This is our pilot house. Welcome aboard. This is our engine room, which we're really happy with. We have a Cummins 455 diesel engine on board. And then we have one of our 2 generators right here, 25 kW Northern Lights. And I really like the layout. The original man that commissioned this, I think he had some really good thoughts. We have a hydraulic get-home motor, a key power get-home with a hydraulic takeoff from our 25 kW generator. It's a wonderful backup system. I don't have a clutter of a second engine. And we use this sometimes to go trolling. We actually fish off the back of the boat. We'll use the generator and this hydraulic takeoff to troll at slow speeds. But when we need to, she'll make about 4.5 knots on this generator. Typically we cruise at 8 knots, and we're really happy with the fuel efficiency. We use about 4.5 gallons an hour to move the boat through the water. We can go faster, but obviously the fuel burn rate goes up higher. The engine room is laid out very nicely. We have a nice workbench that I can sometimes use over the engine when I need to. We can store a few things in there, but I like to keep the space open. On top of the generator, we have a nice table here with our toolbox and other tools I have back over here in the corner. And it works out very good for a nice little storage area for us. But in either case, we can take off the tabletop over the engine to get to the valves for the adjustment. Or in the case of the generator, we can open this up and get to the top of the generator when needed. So it's pretty accessible. Nice walk around space around here. We have room for extra oil that we carry on board and a few other spares over there. And this is very nicely laid out with the fuel system right here. This is a very comfortable layout for here. When we're cruising, it's about 90 degrees in here or so. We try and move a lot of air through and keep it nice and comfortable in here. We come in here regularly and do routine engine checks while we're underway. I'll use my heat gun and check on the engine, make sure everything's behaving just like I expect it to, look for leaks or anything abnormal. But this motor has almost 7,000 hours on it. It's still a teenager and going well. We've been taking good care of her, and when we have it checked out, everything looks good on her. So we're really happy with this boat. So welcome to our Lazarette behind the engine room, which we keep a lot of things in here. We have a freezer here, a 2-drawer freezer. I have a 6 kilowatt generator tucked in back here, which is a really cool generator. It does a lot of work for us. Also in this Lazarette, we have our water maker, FCI water maker, and that's been a super water maker, very easy to operate and reliable. We have 5 air conditioning compressors. As I mentioned earlier, this boat was commissioned in San Diego, and it's been in Florida, so there's 5 air conditioners on board, reverse cycle. But since we live in the Northwest, we also put a Olympia hydronic heating system on it because we'd like the feel of hydronic heat and the warm air from that versus the noise and things we have to do to power up the generators. We can just turn our hydronic heat on and run it off the house battery versus having to start up a generator to run the air conditioning units. We have some panels back here that these will pop right off. I can just pull them off and get access into the back here where the thruster is and another set of batteries for the generator. And of course the steering mechanisms back here. And also behind me are some other panels which we can just take 4 screws out, pull those panels out if we need to get back and service things. So this works out real good. This quick access panels, we have one on each side, allow me to get back and check the hydraulic pressure, for example, for the steering, do visual inspections, make sure nothing's going awry back there, and I can pop it right back on. Also, we have 2 isolation transformers in the back here. We have 2 100-foot 50 amp cables, and if I need to get to the isolation transformers, I can just pop the door off in case the circuit breaker trips here. So again, that makes for quick, easy access and easy inspection of it. With that, we also have a lot of fishing gear in here. So we have some fishing poles. We like to fish off the back of the boat for halibut, doing some mooching for salmon. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes we'll even set up the downrigger on the stern and troll for salmon. And with that, that's a pretty good tour of our Lazarette with one last feature, of course, the access door in the back, which makes it easy to load up. When we load the freezer up for our trips to Alaska, which will be 4 months in length, we put a lot of food in this freezer to keep us well fed while we go north. And so this is a pretty important feature for us, this freezer right here. Other than that, she's just, we got some other odds and ends. We've got our hydraulics for the davit in here. I think that about covers it. Yeah. So that's our Lazarette. Welcome to it. One of the things we really liked about this model, and we didn't realize until we actually experienced it and got on board, was this area here, the utility area. It's very nice because it separates the engine room, which we saw here, and the master cabin here. So it gives us a little space, but also it's a wonderfully large working space. We use it for several things. Well, one is, of course, the washer and dryer parked right here, full-size washer and dryer, which is just a treat to have. And then I have a little bit of storage here for odds and ends, cleaning it, and so forth. And as I mentioned, we go on our trip to Alaska, and so we have storage areas here with all our foods and provisions tucked into here. And there are spaces below as well. But the other thing this area does for us is it offers access to our stabilizers. So our stabilizers are located in this lower compartment here. This is about midship here. I can access one of the stabilizers right here, and the other one's across being there. And one other nice little feature that we really appreciate is having a sink down here. It's nice to be able to have a sink and do some little hand wash work and not have to run to one of the heads or up to the galley to get some water. Across this area here is our electrical room. You'll find we have our inverter as well as our battery chargers in here. A few extra tools and cleaning supplies also tucked in that area. But this is our electrical room to the opposite side. And again, access to the other stabilizer. Welcome to our utility room. Now, welcome to Raven's master cabin. We're very happy with this. As I mentioned, we really wanted a center berth bed for comfort and ease to get in and out, particularly as we get older in years. And this works out very well for us. We have cabinets for our clothes and more clothes, and we have drawers as well for storing items. Works out well. I have to admit, one feature we didn't talk about was where I keep my spares. And I don't have them in the engine room, you may notice, but we keep them in this cabin here because I really treasure them and take good care of them. I'm going to lift up the bed and just give you a peek at the spares that we keep on board. And so we keep all of our spares here. And all kidding, it makes me sleep better knowing I have a full set of spares. I have a record of them, and I know exactly what I've got and where it's at. So if we ever need help, we've got it on board. Then we have our, we have a TV here mounted in. Very seldom we watch TV because we go out cruising. We really want to go cruising, and we're not really big into watching a lot of TV if we, with this setup. But occasionally, if we're sitting at harbor for a while, may pull up something and watch it one night, particularly if my wife flies off and leaves me deserted, maintaining the boat while she goes off on a trip. Over here is our master bathroom, the master head. And very nicely set up. Has a nice room for us for both the shower, the sink, and it works out very well and very comfortable for us for our needs. Okay, welcome to Raven's bunk room. We use this for a variety of things, mainly as an office. We have a nice table here, and works out well to store our printer on. So our printer, and we have some stationery and other supplies we keep within the desk, and a nice little chair here, so we can sit here and do work if we need to. We have bunk, and occasionally our guests do use a bunk, and it works out very good for them. Some people actually prefer the bunk. It's a nice cozy area to sleep in. And I have to always have a few paper charts. I have to put a plug in for, we just completed the Selene West Coast 2025 Owners Rendezvous. And so we have a few little supplies stored in here as well. But the bunk is fairly basic, and it serves our needs for what we do with the boat. Welcome to Raven's Ford V-berth, or our guest cabin. Very comfortable room. We have access on either side of the bed, and we actually had a guest here staying the last 2 nights, and she really enjoyed it. Very quiet, peaceful place to stay. Port lights are very handy. You can darken them if you want with the shades that are attached to them. Also with an overhead hatch, which you can close the screen and the shade as well. It has plenty of drawers, and we use it for a little bit for storage. We have books and a few things sprinkled in here, and even another television here for use. And what's nice about this as well is for a guest, we can have access to the guest's head directly into it. So it's a very private arrangement. The other door, there's 2 doors to the head. The other door can be left closed so that the guests can have their privacy. Or in some cases, when we have no guests, we'll leave their door closed, and it'll be available for our use as well because of the second door. Plenty of access in here, access into the bilge area all throughout the forward area of the boat here, and even storage in drawers and under the bunk. And under the bunk, I must admit, now let's take a look, see what we have down here. We have a hookah compressor and some chairs just to sit on the dock with. So that works out pretty good with the third lung sitting right here, stored here. Should we ever need it, which mobile we don't. And that is Raven's Ford V-berth. Well, welcome to Raven's Flybridge. We really enjoy this area. We have 2 pomponette chairs here, just like the pomponette chair down in the Pilothouse. We have another Garmin MFD up here where we can bring up multiple screens and set them up, customize them so that we can have what features we need when we want to maneuver the boat. Controls for our searchlight. Again, another set of throttles and thruster controls here, radio. So we have pretty much all we need up here that replicates what's down in the Pilothouse, and we can handle all on one MFD. We really like this area, so we put in 2 pomponette chairs so we can sit here together, and it's a great view from here, and it gives us a good view, good viewing for looking ahead, looking for logs or any other obstructions in the water, fishing nets, floats, that kind of thing. Then when we have guests, we have a wonderful seating area here with a lovely table that we can fold out and have a large arrangement for dining. It works out wonderfully for us. On this boat, we have a barbecue that we actually put in, and it's a propane barbecue, and we really like this. And so I have to mention this because my wife came up with this idea. You might ask me, isn't that kind of close to the plastics? And so we thought long and hard about it, plus I needed a way to open it up. And she came up with this idea, why don't you put it on sliders? So I can slide it out, open it up, and we can conduct our barbecuing. We can open up some of the panels here, let air flow through. Right now we have this panel opened up, and that works out well for us. We enjoy our fishing so much that we bought a Traeger smoker, and what we'll do with that is we'll actually set that back here on the boat deck, and we'll smoke some salmon and have some wonderful salmon snacks that way. The rest of the boat deck we have back here. One of the things I really like is we have a hard cover over the stairwell here. It gives me more access, or I can step around and not have to worry about falling through. So it's a nice safety feature, but we can open it up and we have access to the lower level. We have a safety bar we can put in there to make sure it doesn't flop down on anybody. We have the Airtex stainless steel davit, and it does wonders for us to pick up our tinder, a nice AB tinder that we have, and it works out good for us. One of the features we have is this mast. I'm going to trade places with Dylan, and we're going to take a look at this mast. All right, Brant, thank you. Get that right this time. One of the things that's really unique about this boat is we have a mast where all the antennas and radars are consolidated, and it works out really cool because we have some lights that shine down on the back of the deck if we were traveling at night and want to see behind us. And we have our navigation lights up there as well. But what's interesting is we can lower this mast. And you'll see that we have 2 12-volt linear actuators, electric actuators, to lower the mast, and it will come all the way down, and it works out well. We have a couple of bridges in Seattle where rather than making them open up, we can just lower the mast and slip under the bridges. Welcome to Raven's Bow. This is a nice area here. We keep it pretty clean, don't have a lot of clutter up here, and we tend not to have clutter throughout the boat as much as possible. Anchor lockers here. We have twin anchors over here. This is our primary anchor on this side, and it works out great. 150-pound anchor here that we use, a claw anchor. This is our secondary anchor. We have access to our chains down here, and we keep a few fenders down here as well. Nice little seating area here. When the weather's good, we'll pull the cover up and have a nice seating area with a wonderful view off the bow here, and a wonderful bow pulpit from which to look from. Welcome to the bow. And finally, this is Raven's cockpit area, an area with a beautiful view out the back that we really enjoy. Often we'll come out here, have our meal on this table, and we have these nice little chairs we'll pull up and enjoy the view out the back end. We try and keep this area protected from the weather so that we can sit back here. Sometimes when you're at anchor, winds come off the bow, it becomes a wind scoop sitting back here with the enclosures. We've added some features in here besides these doors here that open up. They're plexiglass, and we've added these to be a windbreak, and they just close like that. It works out wonderful for us to break that wind and keep this area protected. Stairs back up to the boat deck are here, and we have gates out the back and gates out the side. We use these gates a lot for loading the boat. It's easy to open up the gate, bring supplies on board, close up the gate so we can transfer just right across the gate versus having to go out on the swim step. This is our beautiful little sunroom back here that we really enjoy with a wonderful view. Looks lovely. This is Raven's cockpit. This is Raven's swim step. We really like the way this is laid out. We have teak deck that we had produced in Florida and bonded down here. It works out great. We have wonderful staples that keep us safe. We have some safety wires that go past the openings as well as all along the stern here. We wanted a little bit more room here to get on in and off the boat, so we actually took off the standard cleats and we put on these cleats that you can pull out. So we have these cleats that can retract, gives us a little bit better access here. We keep a little rowboat on the stern just because we like to exercise. We have oars up top and we can just drop this down and go for a row. Here's our 50 amp power cable coming out here and another on the other side for 100 amps total. Easy access back to Lazarette, gives us a way to load up that freezer in the back and access to the engine room without having to go through the main boat. And this is Raven's stern. Well, I hope you enjoyed our tour of Raven. She's a very lovely boat, a 2008, one that we're very proud of. She's been taken good care of and we're continuing to take good care of her as well. We want her to last a long time, and I think she's got a lot of life left in her. Wonderful boat, and again, thanks to Howard and the Jet Touring and Selene family for making this beautiful boat.